Ahoy there, listeners, and welcome to... I've forgotten the name of the show. The Captain's Horror Meltdown. My name's Cammie, and I will be your captain on this voyage. And I am joined, as ever, by my close companion at arms, the Rear Admiral on this ship, Jon. Which technically, I suppose, means that you are superior to me.
For me, Rear Admiral sounds like a porn film.
It does. It does.
What's a Rear Admiral? What does he do in his spare time?
I don't know. I've absolutely no idea.
Jesus, man, do some research.
I know, but I actually spent quite a long time today I can't believe I just said that. Now people are going to expect there's to get some actual knowledge out of this, looking into the film, but I completely forgot. It's been a while since we recorded.
It has been a wee while.
It's been a little while. What have you been up to of late? Anything exciting?
I wasn't really going to bring this up, but it is vaguely important to this podcast.
Right.
I was at my Aunt Naomi's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
But I only really bring it up because she was like quite instrumental in our horror watching, really. The amount of times we went out and
went down to London and got involved in the whole sort of bootleg video scene.
Yeah, and
at the time.
And I think we went to Fright Fest once down there.
Fright Fest, Eurofest,
that was the fella.
Eurofest.
And yeah, so I was just like thinking about that.
Yeah, totally, man.
And there was like no qualms about it. It was like, yeah, just come down, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, totally.
And we were like,
totally. Well, where are you guys going? We're going to a couple of film fairs, and then we're going off to watch crazy horror films.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and like, you know, I think the first time we went down, we were like, what, 16 or something?
16, yeah.
And we're like going to gigs in the Marquee, drinking pints, but you were just trusted not to be a bellend, and that's you know, and I just loved that about her. It was like, okay, she goes, I know you're bellend, but I trust you to come back from this situation. And I always quite enjoyed that. And the other reason I bring it up is my uncle Neil, obviously Naomi's husband, told me an amazing story, which he almost told at the I'm not going to call it an after funeral party because that's the wrong term, but it was.
Is it a wake? It's a wake, isn't it?
It's a wake, but no, this was an after funeral party. I think it's probably okay. But yeah, he didn't tell it. He goes, a bit too risky. But there was a guy going in for a vasectomy, and Naomi wasn't doing the vasectomy. She was one of the nurses, kind of looking after the after section. She's like, okay, you're going to have to, in about 8 days' time, give us a sample, essentially, just to see if there's sperm active and what's going on. And she's like, you can't, but it's got to be fresh. So you can't, like, do it, then go to bed, and then bring it to us the next day. It's got to be as fresh as you can get.
Right.
And he was like, okay, so should I phone ahead and tell the hospital when I'm coming? At which point the entire room fell apart, and I was like, and he was like, oh no, that's exactly what man, absolutely loved it.
What a phone call that would be.
Oh, totally.
To receive a reception at the hospital.
When are you coming?
A gentleman
I
in
don't
the
know.
vinegar strokes.
When are you coming? I don't know. Have you got any encouragement? Could you tell me some stories about boobs and stuff?
So shall we move on to the film?
If we must.
So here we are, episode 8, The Captain's Horror Meltdown. We are covering Evilspeak, 1981. Evilspeak came out. American horror film. What would we class it as? I was thinking about this a bit. I don't really know. what the classification is. It's quite clearly a bit of a
slightly a
Carrie rip-off.
Yeah, bit of Carrie, sort of
Carrie,
occult stuff going on, I guess.
Bit of a cult. I would just say satanic computer horror.
Well, that's a new genre, but I like it.
It's a genre on its own.
Yeah.
Definitely. Satanic occult computer horror. I think that maybe nails it.
I'm working with that. That sounds good to me. That sounds very good.
And this one, you'd seen it before, hadn't you?
Yes, well,
I'd seen it before, but many moons ago.
I think this is... almost sure this is the first video nasty I ever saw. I think...
Oh, that's an interesting one. I can't even remember what my first video nasty would be. Oh yeah, and yeah, obviously we should say in case you don't know or you haven't clocked it, the other thing about this film is that it was an official video nasty in the UK. That is, I mean we'll talk about this later when we get to censorship issues, but it was on the official Section 1 list of successfully prosecuted films in the whole video nasty scare era.
Straight out the window.
Yeah, one of the 39 listed by Director of Public Prosecutions. So
I think that the most interesting thing I got is I think it is the first one, because this is when I was frequenting a video shop with my dad in a town called Greenlaw on the Borders.
Oh man!
And the guy, absolutely ludicrously small, but it's had a video shop. And the guy who ran it was a massive, massive horror fan. So he kind of became like, I only got introduced to Dario Argento because of him. That's how early I think this was.
Yeah. What was the first Argento introduced to?
Opera.
Yeah.
Right.
Classic.
I think he said to me, "I've got the new Dario Argento film." I was like, "Who's Dario Argento?" And his actual words were to me, "You call yourself a horror fan and you don't know who Dario Argento is." And I'm like fucking 13 or 14 at the time.
Totally.
But yeah, so the first time I ever saw Evilspeak was it was banned outright. Shouldn't have been in a video shop. End of story.
No.
But he brought it through and said, "I've just got this," and it was Evilspeak in a proper VHS box,
nice.
properly labelled, but bizarrely an uncut version that he'd got hold of. Couldn't put it on the shelves, obviously. He just had it in his back room of stuff.
Well, maybe it was maybe he did or swapped it out, or he'd kept it from the actual video nasty scare.
Yeah, maybe just before.
Because it was on. I mean, it was released in the UK on video
before they took it away. Yeah.
Before they took it away. Yeah. I mean, like, just to put it in perspective as well, like I think a lot of younger people just won't actually realise what the whole video phenomenon was like. Greenlaw how many people live in Greenlaw? 500? 1,000 max?
1,000 absolute max, I would say. Probably less, yeah.
And it had a fucking video rental store in it.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It had a lot of stuff in it as well. We're talking hundreds of films. So, like, people would come from all around the area to go and get their video rentals. That's how kind of big of a phenomenon the VHS thing was.
So I've just looked up Greenlaw, right? As of the 2001 census, it had 661 people living in it. It's a shame it wasn't 666. It was the first place you'd seen this satanic horror film. Amazing. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Shall we move on then?
Yes, I'm going to say you will have to be in control of this, I think, because unfortunately I watched the film about, I think, 4 weeks ago, and I'm a little bit, and my notes, which I'll get into later, aren't great. I think we can probably summarise it, like, fairly swiftly. I mean, there's not a massive amount to the film. I did really enjoy watching it again. I haven't watched it for a long time. Yeah, so we start off with a flashback to the Spanish Inquisition era, and I'm about to sneeze. I've been possessed.
That was it. I got the devil out of me. So yeah, bunch of Satanists in the Catholic Church.
Come or sneeze? What was that?
Yeah, but I phoned ahead.
Right, brilliant.
So yeah, bunch of rogue Satanists in the Catholic Church getting ejected.
Is there any other kind of Satanist?
Getting expelled to the States. Yeah. And then cut to the future. There's a military academy built on the same site, and then everything goes tits up basically. So we follow the main actor, Clint Howard.
Yep.
And he is badly bullied at school. He's like the school nerd. So
kind of the nerd, sort of / punching bag, I guess.
Just a general punching bag. And he is bullied by everybody, the teachers, and most certainly the students. There's not a massive amount to it. He gets, he's basically in the middle of a sort of punishment exercise, an ongoing punishment, where he's cleaning out the cellar of the church, which is when he finds a sort of now bricked over stronghold of the Satanists, Father Esteban. Quite a badass looking guy. Quite like that guy still. He's pretty wild. And basically, all hell ensues. He basically logs on to Satan.
That is the most amazing thing about this film. Is like, even with a very, very low powered computer.
Man. But, do you know what? Like, I mean... Right, I'm going to say, and I know people will say, yeah, no, it wasn't really pre-internet because there was a, the origins of the net were around by the 70s.
Oh, no, bollocks to that. You're right.
This is like, this guy was not connected to anything, but his computer, you were able to basically, there was a sort of foreshadowing of Wikipedia. He just types straight up questions into the computer, and the computer answers them.
Yeah. Without hesitation.
He basically ends up getting entwined into a black mass, gets all the materials together for a black mass, raises the devil
of some description, I don't know.
In the spirit of murderous pigs.
Yep.
And basically wreaks revenge on everybody. And that's basically the plot, I think.
It is. It takes a while to get there.
It takes a long time to get there. It's one of these films that it's actually it's one of the problems that you quite often have with the video nasties. I would say.
I think we've talked about this before.
We've talked about this before.
Probably our last podcast, actually, or have we? But yeah, I think fire on. But I think I know what you're going to say.
It takes There's basically a lot to trudge through before you get to the good stuff, really. But man, this film, I really enjoyed it. It does have some slow moments in it. I would say almost grinds to a halt.
Yeah, I think for a 90-minute...
Pretty far on, but...
I think for a 90-minute film, it feels way longer than it should.
Yeah. But
and interestingly, I think this is a version that has actually been trimmed down.
Yeah, no, there's a longer cut on the disc as a bonus.
Yeah, like an SD version. Yeah. So basically, they're just like trying to cut away some of the fat of the dialogue in this one, I think.
I mean, I think the SD version that's on there, I think I couldn't really get to the bottom of it entirely, but it seems to be the case that it was the version that was originally released in the UK,
right,
as a video nasty. So it's got all the gore, but it's got more plot as well.
Yeah. As if more plot was needed in this film.
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's been wisely trimmed, I would have to say. And even though it's been trimmed, it still feels too long.
Well, the thing is, like, I actually was like, it's enjoyable for a long time, and then I just kind of zoned out a little bit, like
I totally agree. I know. Yeah, I'm with you.
When it kicked in again, when it kicked in at the end, and it suddenly becomes insane. Like, I mean, when this one goes off, it fucking goes off in amazing style. But there was a point where I suddenly was like, how did we get here? And I had to rewind about 10 minutes to see what had happened just before. And I'd sort of seen the scenes. I'd been watching it, but I hadn't really been paying attention. And then I sort of clicked back in. But and I mean, wow, fucking hell, it delivers at the end. I mean, the last 15 minutes are absolutely apeshit.
They are absolutely catastrophically mental. And it's just, oh god, it's everything you want from it. And then, as you say, it's very, very, typical of those kind of films. You've got, usually the start's very kind of in your face. Mm-hmm. In terms of plot and story, and it's like,
well, we get the beheading to start with. Bit of excitement.
A bit of excitement, and then you're straight into that kind of straight to the story, which is quite nice. The story just kind of peters out a little bit. It's like, you really, I mean, that, if I'm going to be honest, that could be 70 minutes.
Yeah. could be. But what do you have to be a feature? Isn't it like 79?
75, I think, maybe.
75,
yeah.
You could have cut it into that.
But still a reason to have an extra 15 minutes. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. You're not like going to be crying through boredom, but
no.
It could be a short film.
I think one of the things about it is as well that, like, I've never seen someone, we've all seen the films where your main character is bullied and pushed too far and has to retaliate and comes back. But holy shit, it's fucking relentless. I've, like, never seen a squad of more hateable characters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely...
The bullies at school are absolute fuds. And so...
You're ecstatic when they die, let's be honest.
Totally.
You're almost... I think I was almost cheering. And not, I wasn't off my feet, but I think my fists were raised going, yes!
Well, if you had been off your feet, you'd have been like Clint Howard in it, because he spends the end of the film basically flying everywhere.
Yes, he does.
Flying everywhere. It's roasting in here. Got the heater on.
That'll do it.
I'm going to take my top off. Hold on.
Steady. You got anything underneath that?
It really does go fucking tonto at the end, and I love it. I mean, it goes, if you're going to sit down and watch a film about some sort of satanic panic, you wouldn't expect it to be like...
I love the fact you said satanic panic.
Yeah.
That sounds like a wee band you might see in a local...
Satanic Panic.
Who are terrible, but what a name. Possibly some black metal band. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, you wouldn't expect it to involve any computer coding, especially in 1981.
That's very weird. It is weird.
And where did the fucking pigs come from? I know he says possess anything that, I think he says, I possessed something to let me know you're here or whatever. But the pigs go fucking apeshit.
Right,
I mean, really.
They're scary, man. They are fucking scary.
This is a fucking a satanic pig movie, basically. And they absolutely wolf into that poor secretary, who's also a bitch. I mean, everybody in this film is fucking horrible to him. And including the school receptionist, it would seem.
They're all absolute ballbags to him.
She gets wolfed down, but I think in a disappointingly brief bit of gore, really.
Well, I was looking at stuff and reading things about that, and apparently that was actually
sort of much lengthier.
Yeah, but the director cut it, I think so.
So yeah, like, satanic pigs are fucking wild. Absolutely wild.
I love them.
We've got a heart ripping.
Yep.
Which is a really great effect as well. A nail to the head. Boom,
yeah, enjoyed that.
Just fucking, like, it's just absolute insanity at the end. It's just, like,
the final
scene. Bang.
The final scene in the church is stupendous, man.
That's phenomenal.
I'm levitating with, what is that, a broadsword?
Yeah.
Just fucking lopping heads off.
Father Esteban's sword. Whoa. Just laying into folk.
Absolutely
it is
amazing.
Wild. I'm going to have a quick look over. I also didn't make too many notes. I'm
going to try and find mine, but I'm going to be honest. It was 4 weeks ago. What I did note is that 2 of my notes I can't read.
Excellent.
It looks like wild under cream toffs.
Oh yeah, totally. totally. Those I can see what you're getting at there. The undercream toffs. Yeah.
Statue blood plus touch.
Nice.
Right. And that dog is dead! Exclamation mark.
Oh man, the dog.
The dog is
The
pretty
dog.
bad news.
That's fucking bold in a movie as well, isn't it?
I mean,
they'd already done a really good job of making us really hate those characters, and then they killed it. Not only the dog, the fucking innocent little puppy.
Yeah, the little puppy that our main character's taken on, and they go in and
those guys
murder it. They really murder it. Yeah.
They're fucking goading him into it.
Yeah. Make a guy murder that dog. They don't kill it; they murder it. I think there's a difference.
I don't know. You might not remember now. It's been so long since you watched it. The opening credits, they don't make them like they used to. Like,
no, I do.
See the font on the opening credits and the sort of painting for the title Evilspeak. Fucking great. You know you're getting into like a wigged out film.
Yeah.
When it's got credits like that.
Massive.
I actually fucking loved it.
Evilspeak.
Actually, really surprised first of all as well to see the Warner logo come up.
Yeah.
And actually, when I was online earlier doing a bit of looking around, I was looking at old video sleeves for it, and it was actually put out by Warner Home Video in Europe as well.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, getting heavily involved. Seems quite wild, doesn't it?
It does seem
Quite a wild film for them to get involved with. But anyway, what was going on with the Nazi teacher?
There's a lot of weirdness in this film. I'm going to be honest. I spent most of this film thinking, why is this happening? What is this guy all about? Who the fuck is this? Who wrote this part? This is insanity. But I was generally constantly interested because I couldn't figure out why any of it was really happening.
Oh no, totally. And the computer graphics as well. The sequences, those computer graphics are fucking incredible. Love it.
It's a product of its time. There's no question about it. I mean,
quite reminiscent of the computer graphics in Escape from New York.
At times, but way worse.
But way more wigged out. Yeah, way more wigged out. And the effects, I really enjoyed the effects as well.
I thought they were great, man.
Pretty good. Totally, good to see practical effects all over the place. I really fucking loved that two-way mirror effect that they got.
Yeah.
For superimposing the face. That was fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely great. I mean, the effects are. I used to say, we always thought, I love to see effects back in those days, and they're done well, you know.
Yeah.
The heart-ripping scenes really well done. It's the
woman getting eaten by the pigs is well done.
Yes, really, that's particularly brutal, that part. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
That affected me.
some of the sort of pig heads.
A little bit dodgy, yeah.
I'm actually, not long ago, I picked up a film called Pigs, which I've not actually watched yet. I think it's out over here as well.
It is. It's one of those films.
We got our next film picked.
Maybe
it would have been a good link to the pigs.
Yeah, we can get back to pigs, surely.
Oh, we'll get to pigs at some point, surely. We will do.
Some actor in the next film will have had a pig sandwich or something.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. How obscure can we
I would
make it?
imagine one of these people has eaten bacon before.
Yeah, at some point.
I hope we don't get that tenuous, but it's a very good possibility.
So what would you... let's have a little look at a sort of little closer dive in on some of the cast and crew, really, I guess. So director... another first-time director.
Yeah, we're rocking through them.
Yeah, rocking the first times. Eric Weston, and he wrote and produced it as well. So I was actually looking to see what else he'd done that was notable, and not really very much from looking at it.
Oddly.
He has directed a fair few other films, but nothing really that sort of stuck out too much. We talked about it for a little while, potentially doing a film by him called Hyenas.
Oh yeah,
from 2011, which looks terrible. So they're werewolves, but they're not werewolves because they're hyenas.
Yeah, it sounds like
it looked pretty bad.
Dodgy premise.
So that did. But the thing that interested me most on his resume is that apparently he was an actor in a film called The Farmer, which I have been wanting to see for a long time, and which has sort of become a sort of mystery film. Sort of 1977 revenge film about a World War II veteran that comes back from the war, has been highly decorated, and moves back to his farm, but can't make the farm work, and the bank's trying to foreclose on him and shut him down, but all he wants to do is keep his farm open, and basically shit gets out of hand, and he has to wreak havoc on like local gangsters or whatever. But it looks incredible, and if you hear people talking about it at the time, it sounds absolutely phenomenal. Never released on video.
Oh, really?
Never released on DVD.
What?
And Code Red reckoned they were going to release it for a while. They put out trailers for it on some of the other discs, and it's just disappeared. So they're not doing it anymore. And I know that I don't know from personal experience, but like obviously Bill that runs Code Red is a character. I think he's
that's being polite.
Yes. So God knows what happened really, but it seems that it's either in some sort of limbo or God knows what it is. But I'd highly recommend checking out the trailer for it. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and apparently Eric Weston was in it. Unless there's just some sort of balls up somewhere. But yeah, it looks absolutely brilliant. I think he's done a really good job with this one. This nasty little slice of work.
It is,
for
man.
For a first-time director, it's not bad. It's totally serviceable film.
It's totally accomplished. I like it a lot. That's it. The pacing is a bit off at times, but again, I'll put it back in there. It's like if I'd made it, I'd be well happy.
Exactly. Clint Howard, starring role.
Yep.
Well, obviously, people of our age will remember him from Gentle Ben, which seemed to. Obviously, we weren't around for the first time that program aired, but holy shit, it was repeated ad nauseum on TV when we were kids. Holy shit. And he looks fucking exactly the same to this day as he did in Gentle Ben. He's a fucking well recognisable face, doesn't he?
It's great, and obviously he turns up in his brother's directed the Han Solo film.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think
which I watched for the first time last week when we were away on holiday. And it was amazing. I was like, oh, look, there's Clint Howard. He's a star in the film that Cammie and I have just watched, Evilspeak. It was just like, yeah, great.
Yeah, amazing.
Glad you've told me that. And
thanks for that.
Brilliant.
I think he seems to be... Is he in every one of his brother's films? I think he might have a cameo in every. I don't know if it's all. I think I'm fairly sure he's got a cameo in every one of them. But anyway, he's good. He's good in this. He's not bad. He also, I noticed, is in a film which I want to see, and I think could be a candidate for the show, called Ice Cream Man, which is a mid-90s.
I've seen it. Yes,
is it good?
It was at Dead by Dawn.
Oh, was it?
Holy shit!
How was it?
You brought that flashing back. I really enjoyed it.
How was it? Because Vinegar Syndrome, who are like my favourite label at the minute for obscure releases, did a Blu Ray edition of it recently, and I think might pick it up in the next sale. Actually,
it's just weird the way you mentioned that. I was like, oh fuck, yeah, I've seen that.
What year was that?
Oh God, donkeys.
Yeah.
Like many years ago, let's put it that way.
So it's like Clint Howard, David Naughton from American Werewolf, and fucking Jan Michael Vincent from Airwolf.
Yeah, it's a heady mix.
What the fuck? Holy shit, man.
Yeah, no, it's you brought it back to my memories. That I think it was thoroughly enjoyed by everyone that I know.
Excellent.
That attended.
Oh man, I'm fucking jealous. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's just when you saw. Oh fuck yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, Man, there's a lot of interesting characters in this, to be honest. I won't...
Yeah, I mean, they all are. I mean, the thing is, none of the others have really done that much stuff, I don't think.
No,
I mean, I think a lot of the old guys had been in a million films. Do you know what I mean? Some of the old character actor guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think all the performances are great. I enjoy old the Mad Sarge who lives down in the basement and just drinks a hell of a booze.
Fucking amazing. It's how I see my life panning out.
Yeah, you're just becoming a janitor in the basement of a local church.
Yeah, but not knowing what you're doing there.
Just absolutely hammered, just screaming at kids. Brilliant. And yeah, the guy who played Esteban, what a look he had. And apparently he was in House, which I think we mentioned it on this before, but I've still not seen any of the House films. What a fucking travesty. We come on here, pretend to be horror fans.
Well, I've seen them all, so fuck you.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't know how you managed to watch them all without me. Bastard.
I prefer it that way.
So I think probably that brings us to a close on the actual film, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's been
There's
rambling
really that much more
as
to
per
say.
usual. Yeah.
We like a ramble. We do like a ramble.
We're like a ramble, and it is an interesting film, and I think if you've got £6 to spare, put it towards 88 films and have a wee look at this. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to obviously move on to our classic features. So we'll be talking about the Blu Ray. But yeah, I mean, well, we'll move on to that then.
Let's do it.
Blue, it's the Blu Ray reviews, yeah. Blue, it's the Blu Ray reviews, yeah. Blue, it's the Blu Ray reviews, yeah. Blue, it's the Blu Ray review.
Man, what a fucking time to be alive for horror fans, really. Do you know what I mean?
Tremendous.
I mean, Blu-ray has, like, you know, seemingly failed to take off in the way it should have done.
Yeah.
For the masses who are just now downloading and streaming everything. But suddenly all these great fucking companies have turned up, putting out obscure films, which surely not that many people are buying.
No.
I mean, really? Really? What is the market for these films like?
You know, I think the day we bought this probably doubled their sales for at least the month, I would imagine.
So yeah, this one released by 88 Films. Oh, actually, talking about Blu-ray and do you see the news today that John Lewis is stopping selling DVD
I was
players?
just about to bring that up. Yep.
Yep.
Gone.
There you
Thank
go.
fuck.
Gone. But they're still selling Blu-ray players. Oh man, who the fuck's buying DVD players these days? Everyone's got a 4K TV now. Why are they plugging a DVD player into it?
You'd be surprised. You'd be massively surprised. I mean, for most of the work I do, I film in 4K and then down-res it to 1080 for online delivery, and people still want a fucking DVD. It's absolutely horrifying. You would be massively surprised how prevalent this bullshittery is. People just want a thing sometimes, I think, maybe.
Something physical.
Yeah. But fuck me, what disaster. Anyway, continue.
So yeah, we have got the Blu-ray from 88 Films.
Yep.
Released it in the UK. And what a beautiful little package. They've got
It's nice.
newly commissioned artwork by fucking video nasty legend Graham Humphreys.
Yeah, he's cool.
He is the video sleeve artist in the UK.
Yeah.
From this era. Absolute legend. And you cannot mistake his work at all. And it's a fucking great sleeve. He's done a really good job of it. It's great. And being 88 Films, it's also reversible, so it's got the classic old school video nasty sleeve, if you want to have a look at that. And I suspect that the certainly the transfer is probably a straight copy of the version that was put out in the States by Shout Factory, Scream Factory, Shout Factory.
I think I'd totally agree. I think it probably is. I'd be so interested to talk to 88 Films at some point.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Would love to have a wee interview with the guys.
It's like how do you do this? What is the process?
What is the process? That is the thing that fascinates me as well. Really, really, what is the process? You know, from getting the rights. I'm actually really interested in the process of actually remastering, which or scanning these films. I guess that they probably got their scan from Shout Factory.
I think it would be the same one. I think maybe all of the extras have been ported over, I guess. It's nice to see, because one of the things is you always get this thing, especially you see with Arrow, they have to release things differently in the States as they do to here, and a lot of these odd genre films are region locked, where back in the DVD days they were like, fuck it, anyone can watch it, I don't give a shit. So it does seem like maybe a bit more restrictive, that people say like you can release it in this territory, but that's it, end of story, and you can only release X amount of copies.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems that it's great to see them all working together, a lot of these companies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd love
get it out to the fans.
Love to talk to 88 Films about what their process is, and working with other companies. That's what I love, that cooperation. It's fucking tremendous. I don't know the ins and outs of it. It could be a fucking nightmare. I don't know.
It could be, yeah.
But either way, I would love to figure out what's.
I'm sure there's lots of personal politics involved. Maybe we should be looking at getting together a little list of questions, John, and then maybe getting in touch.
Honestly, I could question them all day. I'm going to be honest. I honestly could.
Nice. So, as we've come to expect from 88 Films, the transfer is great for what the era of film that we're talking about. I'm constantly amazed at how well these films have been, looked after in some way. Do you know what I mean?
It is wild.
It's great. And I mean, this film, I don't think they're going to have got it looking any better than it does here. I mean, obviously, you're not talking, it's not, if you sat it side by side with your sort of 2018 shot digital, movie, like, that's absolutely perfect. It's not going to compare.
Evilspeak 2, you mean?
Yeah, Evilspeak 2, it was big this year, wasn't it? Yeah,
huge,
it was good, that
huge.
one. Yeah. It looks as good as it's going to look. You know what I mean? The film's soft in quite a lot of areas, but that's going to be like that when it was shot. That's going to be,
what I found interesting about it was what I was scared about when I first put it on is the opening scene looks fucking terrible.
Yeah, it does.
I was like, wow, I hope to go, God, Jesus, is this what this is going to look like? And then it was interesting to find out they actually shot the opening scene after they'd filmed the whole film. Yeah,
and at dusk as well, and with all natural light, so they were just losing light constantly. So it is pretty pretty grainy, I guess, that bit, but just,
super grainy
as an effect of the light. But this version as well, so it does port over. I'm just looking here. It does port over the documentary, the Satan's Pigs and Severed Arms, the making of Evilspeak. Ports that over, and it also ports over the special effects trailer and the individual cast interviews. So it does have the UK version does have the extended version of the film.
It does.
On there as an extra, but that's in standard def. The US unrated version as well has a lovely little intro by the director as well.
That's great. I love that. Don't watch this film until I've said some stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a bit of a shame not to get like a really proper interview with him, I thought, but
yeah, that is a good point, actually. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Did you dip into the commentary at all? I've
got to be honest, I didn't, because it's like, when you total up the extras, you're talking over an hour's worth of stuff out with commentaries.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't. I've got to admit, I think I probably will go back and revisit it, because it's also, it's not just him. You've got the cast in there as well, doing stuff as well. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I if I've got that hour and a half spare at some point, I'll probably dip into it. But yeah, the extras are good. I would straight up, man. I'd recommend this Blu-ray. I can't see any.
Yeah, there's no problem at all. The sound is all fine. It's just a mono, the original mono track. Yeah, I'd definitely, if you've not seen the film, it's definitely worth a punt for the price.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I think this is kicking about in UK stores for £6 at the minute, which is absolutely fuck all.
Yeah.
£6. It's insane.
£6. Support this bullshit. Come on, people.
Come on, guys. Come on. And if you've not seen it and you're interested to see I mean, to be fair, these and it's the same with a lot of these films that were caught up in a video nasty scare. Probably, kids who are into horror films these days would just find this laughable.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, totally. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, when it came to the final, the real final carnage,
it does get pretty wild.
It does get wild, but at the same time, you're like, it does look vaguely tame in a way.
Yeah.
And as good as this Blu-ray is, it does.
It really does highlight
wires.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a problem with these with HD, isn't it? Really. But I mean, if you're a fan of these kind of films, then you'll find
it's not
so much the effects being realistic. It's it's just the I'll look at Shogun Assassin and things like that. Do you know what I mean? You know that it goes over the top and outrageous.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're just hooked in for the ride. The other thing I will say that I think we mentioned before, we've done another 88 films before, have we?
Our last film was 88 films.
Yeah, and the trailer reel on this one is great. Again, it's like a near 20-minute trailer reel.
It's amazing.
Oh man, it's just fucking brilliant, isn't it?
It makes you want to watch every single one of those films. There's no question about it. Honestly.
Well, I've actually never seen. So it starts off with Children of the Corn. I've never seen Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
it's
all right.
Don't Go in the Woods is apparently horrendous. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, I never got around to. That would be a good one to do, actually. That had big censorship issues back in the day, and I mean, you can see why, even in the trailer.
Even in the name, it's like, could you call it something else?
Well, they did censor the name, didn't they? I think they called it Hollywood Hookers at the time.
Yep. Which makes it far better, obviously. Yeah.
Well, I mean, James Ferman's sort of dire hatred for blood and breasts together is just that trailer's not even going to get past anyone, is it?
No.
Quite a wild Italian film called Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man, which looks insane. Mother's Day, which I've never seen as well, actually.
I've not seen Mother's Day, actually.
Looks nasty as fuck. I think we should get that watched.
I always saw that.
Slaughterhouse, which had the voiceover man, and all of these films have got voiceover man, haven't they, really?
Yeah. That's what makes them so great, I think.
Brilliant. Trancers, which looks insane as well, which I've never seen, and Splatter University. just a great little trailer reel. Brilliant. Love it. So yeah, I'd thoroughly recommend it. £6 well spent. You can probably pick it up cheaper than that if you look at the second-hand shops.
Second-hand, that mother for probably £3 or £4, I'd imagine.
Yep, I'd say so. Yeah. So
can I put my hand up and say, can I go to the toilet?
Yes, you can. And when you come back, we will talk about. We'll ask what would James Ferman do.
James Ferman was the director of the British Board of Film Classification from 1975 to 1999. And we ask ourselves, what would James Ferman do? What would James Ferman do? What would James Ferman say? We ask, what would James Ferman do? Tell us, James, what would you say?
So moving on to our other regular feature, which is confusing for everyone that isn't in their 40s or older from the UK. But what would James Ferman think? Well, and we so as we mentioned earlier, this film is famous for being on the Director of Public Prosecution's Section 1 list, which were 39 films that were successfully prosecuted for being obscene. So actually, I don't know, I think it was video shops. Some of them, they did go after distributors at some point, but people taken to court for selling films. Madness.
And
So
there's that very
basically-
interesting book you can get on Amazon, which is very badly written.
Oh yeah! Did you get that as well?
Yeah, it's great though.
It's
It is
fucking
great.
brilliant.
What's
It is
it called
brilliant.
again? What's it
I
called?
can't remember. I was trying to
Shite.
find it earlier, but I think I lent it to someone and I don't know where it is now.
Right, we can't remember the name of it, but we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to it.
It's basically
written by-
one video rental shop's owners' memories of how they almost took him down into prison almost. He was in court for renting some of these films.
Yeah, it was madness.
It's,
He was a teacher to start with, and then got into the video. A video as a sideline.
Totally
What was it he
respectable
had?
chap.
What was he had? Like him and his wife had saved up like £800 or something like that to get a new sofa, or like their dream sofa, and they ended up investing the money into buying like 5 VHS tapes or something,
Yeah,
and they had them in their airing cupboard,
yeah.
and people would come round and rent them out, and you had to pay like £10 to become a member
Yeah,
of the
that's
club,
right.
and then you had to pay
Something
a
like that.
£5 a time for a rental.
Yeah, that's been
And
like
they made their money back
That's like
in
when you
no
had
time.
to. It was amazing when you had to actually rent a VHS back. Well, sorry, when you had to buy a VHS as a rental shop, it would cost you about between £80 and £100.
Yeah, it's wild.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
But
mad.
anyway, we'll get
So-
into.
So yeah, well, just to give I mean, I know we've talked about it before. It's easy for us just to say, "Oh yeah, video nasties," that's fine. But we do, believe it or not, have listeners who are. We do have listeners. That's the surprise.
Well, there's a few.
But yeah, I mean, I guess
literally a few.
yeah, and we do have listeners that are out with the UK, and also anyone that's younger than us probably, we could well have, missed out on the whole thing unless they're, into, their serious studying of the era, really. So basically, there was a loophole. Films in the UK used to have to, still have to be certified for the cinema, but you don't really have to be certified for the cinema, do you? You can get, a council can override the ratings. You can actually show films unrated in the cinema over here. But basically, there was when video came out, the market was unregulated. There was basically a loophole in the system that you could release films without certificates.
Yep.
And there was no law to stop them being rented to anybody. So it was just the Wild West, effectively.
Yeah,
and
totally.
people just went, nuts for whatever they could get their hands on. And lots of people started putting out just wild horror films, putting out garish sleeves, just buying stuff that would never have got released in the cinema. There was no real market for it, but people wanted to rent it at home. And basically were their own worst enemy, really. And there was basically a moral crusade launched, spearheaded by Mary Whitehouse. We won't go into Mary Whitehouse here. Oh God, old cowbag. And yeah, basically went after. There was a lot of pressure from the Christian right on the Tory government at the time, who were wanting to be strong on law and order, blah blah blah. Much outrage about our nation going to hell, and children watching all these banned films. So there was basically a major moral panic, which was whipped up by the tabloids. The government had to be seen to act. So the video distributors all said, "Oh, we'll regulate ourselves." And actually, I think they got quite far down the line speaking to BBFC about self-regulation. I think BBFC as well was sort of saying, well, the big guys will come to us for a certificate anyway, and eventually, you know, everyone will just come to us for a certificate, and it will just become the norm. But basically, it came to a head, and the government created the Video Recordings Act 1984, and you legally have to have a certificate in the UK to release a film. So you can say, you know, yeah, and it's illegal to sell to anyone below the age that the film's certified for. But anyway, there was a list, you know, so the Director of Public Prosecutions at the time was testing to see if these films could be prosecuted for obscenity, much in the same way that, you know, books have been prosecuted for obscenity back in the 60s or whatever.
The original censorship, yeah.
The original censorship, yeah. So Evilspeak found itself on, you know, it was a much longer, I think the full list was 72 titles maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just the amount they're on. So there's 3 sections anyway. The first section were films that were, section 1 for films that had been prosecuted, which Evilspeak was one of. And then the other 2 sections were, section 2 was films that were sort of borderline, and section 3 were films that they could have looked risky. So Evilspeak was, I mean, it's quite interesting. It was released in the cinema in the States, and I think did fairly well in the cinema in the States, actually.
Yeah, it was actually, I can't remember which actor it was in the extras I was watching. Didn't realise it had been banned. I think he said in Europe, but I didn't realise it had been banned until he was doing that interview.
Yeah, totally. I know, it's mad. So it had done pretty well, and obviously distributed by Warner's in the States. Over here, it came out in video 1980. I think it came out in 1981 as well. Actually, the year it came out in the cinema. It was released on the Filmtown label, sort of Filmtown stroke Video Space. I'm not sure which is which. One's the label, one's the distributor. But who'd actually, they'd only put out 8 releases, all in all. I mean, it shows how like sort of low key a lot of these companies were. Do you know what I mean? And one of their 8 ended up on the, you know, on the list, you know. It's a fucking bummer for them, I guess. But they basically, I think they put out the film completely uncut. They then shat it a bit, I think, and tried and put out the UK, the US cut version, but still got prosecuted. So and then it came out later. It came out later when it eventually. So this is how we know what. So it was tied up in all that nonsense. But then, when it first did get a rating, Ferman cut it. Well, not Ferman himself, but the BBFC cut it in 1987 by 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Yep. That's quite a lot for a 90-minute film, isn't it?
That's a huge amount. I mean, and, you know, it was...
that will have cut all the gore.
The one thing I found the weirdest thing about the cuts was, you know, a lot of them, they took out all the satanic references on the computer screen.
Yeah, what?
What the fuck?
It's insane to think that
rendering it completely incomprehensible.
Complete gibberish. I mean, what were they thinking? I mean,
is Satan that bad? Well, obviously he's not a great guy, I guess, but
what was going on, man? It does beg your belief a bit. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the thing is, you know, it's a well-made film as well, but they're like, you know, they obviously just lost their shit about it. And the film, it was released again in 1999 and was still cut.
Yeah.
Still cut in 1999.
Unbelievable,
what
man.
Is going on? What dark days we lived in. Absolute insanity. It's insane. And it didn't actually get to come out uncut until 2004. So,
yeah.
When Anchor Bay released it.
By which point, I think, you know, certainly here it's probably forgotten about, really. I mean, for me,
yeah, totally.
For me, this must be the first proper release of it, I think, as far as I can tell. by the good chaps 88 Films. And you know, it's brave, man. I love these guys. Like, this is a film that almost no one wants to watch. But fuck it.
Yeah.
It's happening. We're putting it out there. And, you know, fair enough, they've maybe got their transfer from somewhere else or whatever. But I just like that commitment to, like, saying, look, this is the complete version that we have. Although maybe not necessarily the complete version. Which I like, you know, I like the fact they're putting the SD version on the disc as well.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, James Ferman, he wasn't a fan of this film, let's be honest.
No, well, it's interesting as well, like, you know, I mean, it's interesting that it was still cut in 1999. Ferman left the board in 99. He died in 2002.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that after, even though he was away from the board from 1999, still films were not getting released. You know, there was a real tidal wave of stuff released after he died, wasn't there?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the ghost of Ferman was still there for 3 years before he died, just telling him not to fucking, don't you dare release any of these nasties. Don't you dare. It's like it would be a personal slight on him or something. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, you know, he had these big films that he really went after, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff, you know, which is just madness. But yeah, for something like this, I mean, uncut in 2004, and I can imagine that there was no problem at all in 2004, you know, by then.
Yeah.
When it went through, you know, it just seems mad. And the further away we get from that era, the more we're left sort of thinking, what the hell was going on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, but
and the thing is, remember, we were talking earlier on about getting our bootleg videos. Remember we very first got in touch with that guy Kev through the classifieds and Darkside, and we got a letter back saying, "Oh, I've just been raided, and all my tapes have been taken, and I'm getting prosecuted." And I remember like getting tapes through and sort of reading about people that had been raided, and you know, people that had just collections of films. And we're getting busted by the cops, you know,
yeah,
for having videos, man. What is going on?
What a pointless waste of time. Absolutely pointless.
Absolute insanity, isn't it? Insanity. Anyway
yeah, it's safe to say James Ferman didn't like this.
No, he's probably spinning. Probably out of our rating system, I'd say he probably is spinning his grave.
It's been released like this. Yeah,
totally.
In
Blu Ray in HD,
full 1080p.
Think of the children that are getting corrupted by this. Oh no, hold on. Only middle-aged men are buying it. Actually, I would be really interested to hear if we've got any younger listeners at all that what they make of all this sort of era of stuff. Are people still into these films? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like to get into films and suddenly to be sort of like 18 and get into horror films and then just discovering the sort of mad world that used to exist.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if folk actually are interested in a film like this, out with our age range. I guess maybe not. I mean, I don't know, but film going and yeah, it's a different thing these days, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean,
I think people still get into films and like them because they're campy or because they're a bit crap. Do you know what I mean?
I guess the point.
I do have a love of. I mean, I do like So Bad They're Good films, but this isn't one of them. But do you know what I mean? There's that sort of I don't know, a bit sort of nostalgia for us watching these.
Yeah, well, look how excited we get about these stupid fucking films coming out.
I know.
Here's me sitting with a copy of Two Evil Eyes that I don't even remember purchasing, but it dropped when I got back from holiday. It was sitting on my doorstep. It's like, all right, okay, fair enough. And I'm delighted about it. It's not even a good film.
I'm really excited about watching it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's got really nice bits in it, but it's technically terrible. No, it's not terrible, but it's you know, it's the start of Lesser Argento, and I think Romero was way gone by that point anyway.
Well, I think that probably brings us to an end, doesn't it?
Probably wraps
I
us
would
up.
say. Wraps us up. I'd recommend it. Evilspeak, 88 films. You've heard the two of us say it over and over now. 88 films. Cracking little company.
Yeah,
get
like it a
watched.
lot. Like it a lot.
I mean, we really are in a sort of renaissance period just now for fans of these kind of films. With 88 films, the stuff that Arrow's putting out as well. Just loads of great companies kicking about the UK just now, and the States, but it's easier than ever before to get some pretty wild films in the UK. So it's also good to know that when something comes out in the States, we're probably going to get it out over here as well.
And vice versa.
You know, and vice versa,
well.
which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, highly recommended, Evilspeak. So we will wrap it up for now, and we will see you on the next episode. And our tenuous link is 88 films.
Oh, not so tenuous then.
Is it 88 films? Oh no, it's not.
What is the link then?
Oh God.
What is the next film?
The next film is Street Trash.
That's 88. Oh no, for me it's 88 films.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's for you, but not for me.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll be watching the American copy. You'll be watching the UK copy.
Yep.
So
supporting the British whilst we delve further and further into Brexit. So I'm glad I've given a bit of money to a company that will now be defunct in 2 years because they can't export outside of their own wee island. Lovely.
Well, the only reason I'm reviewing the American version is because I bought it when it came out in the States, which was before it came out in the UK. So
yeah, but I've got exactly the same transfer, so we're on the same page, roughly.
Yeah. So join us next time for Street Trash.
And blowjobs.
Yeah, John's giving out the blowjobs. So send him an email. Thanks for listening. Night.